Hello and good afternoon to a bit of an impromptu stream. I wasn't expecting to stream today, but I thought I may as well. So, this is the Shark. Now, last week, if anybody was watching, I was teaching somebody the Huey, and I always say the Huey is the starting point for the helicopter experience in DCS. That sounds so formal and corporate-y, but hey ho. And if you ever want to get to the Apache, I would always recommend going from the Huey to the Shark to the Apache. And by the time you get to the Apache, it's going to be a lot easier. Anyway, let's go into options and go into special and find the Shark down the side. This is something I forget to do quite often, to be fair. Note it's the Shark 3, not the Shark 5. So if we have a little look, as we can see, there's no pedal trimmer. Pedals override heading hole, there's none of that nonsense. Customized cockpit is English instead of default. Default is Russian. And then you've got central position trimmer mode, and that's all you need to remember. If anyone's got any questions, please jump in. The other reason for jumping in and doing this is because I was talking when I was streaming yesterday about, oh, there'll be a sale soon. Wait for the sale. And now the sale's actually on. I never realised. And the Eagle Dynamics modules are 50% off. So this Shark 3, the Huey, is 50% off. The Apache isn't by Eagle Dynamics, but even so, there is an amount off. And now's the time to grab hold of some of these because they are bargains, believe me. So I'll just wait for this to load up. That's something that I can refer back to then, should anybody ask. If anyone's got any questions, please shout out. You're not interrupting anything. I'll go through the startup. And then we'll have a look, and then we'll use some of the things in practice because it's far easier to use the
Oak 12 and P said hello.
Hey Oak 12, welcome to the channel. It's far easier to show you some of the weapons in practice. So I'll tell you a little bit about this particular module. There are some idiosyncrasies with it. I'll explain why it's a good stepping stone from the Huey to the Apache and how that will help, and who knows, I might do the Apache next week. I don't know my way 100% around the Apache, but I know enough to accelerate everybody's learning time, which is what I try and do basically. You notice how the first time you go into a mission it always takes longer to load, and then subsequent times it's much quicker. If you want to join in, if you've got a Shark or you've just bought one, you're more than welcome to join in. Right, okay, we're going to join the blue side, and I don't think, no, there's no dynamics, so let's go down, see what the KA50 is, assuming we've got some. Okay, we do have some, and they seem to be on the ground. We've also got some down at Nova. It might be in the way because of a mission, I don't know, we'll see. And whilst it sounds like I'm wittering, I know what I'm on about. So if you've got a KA53, then jump, and you want to play, just jump into a KA53. So as I said last week, I was teaching somebody the fundamentals of the Huey. If you're new to DCS and you've not flown helicopters before, I would always recommend that you start with the Huey. Excuse me. Always recommend you start with a Huey. The reason being is you are flying it directly. There's no systems in there to help you. It is what it is. You will learn all about helicopter fundamentals by flying the Huey. So unlike the Huey, which was a single rotor, 2 blades with a stabilizer and a tail rotor or anti-torque rotor, the Black Shark is 2 counter-rotating blades. Now bear in mind I said this is the Black Shark 3, not the Black Shark 2. The similarities are prevalent all the way through, but there are some changes on this. Originally this was supposed to be updated from the 2. It was supposed to have quite a few nice new features on, but the Russians stopped them from putting the features on. Okay, they gave them permission to do it, and then withdrew that permission for reasons that, if you think about it, were fairly obvious. Okay, it's got 2 counter-rotating blades. Now, unlike the Huey, I can't show you the blades moving or doing anything because it relies on all the hydraulics and everything, whereas in the Huey I can move things around and show you from outside before I get started. These 2 blades rotate in opposite directions, and that counters the torque on the helicopter. Because of that, you do not need the tail rotor. Okay, this is just a stabilizer, as you can see. It doesn't turn either, and other than that, that's about it. Right, when we jump in, I'll go through the startup and I'll explain the major differences as we go along. Again, as I said before, it's half price at the moment, and I would always recommend the Huey, the Shark and the Apache if you want to fly the Apache. Right, so first thing we're going to do is close the door, and then we're going to have a look down by the right knee. Now there's a lot of switches and buttons in this, and it can be a little intimidating. However, there's also quite a few switches and buttons that might not necessarily do anything. Once you go through the startup of the first engine, then the second engine is exactly the same, but with different switches for that engine. There's also switches on this back panel, as you can see, and I think there might be one thing on there, and that's about it. So the process to start up is to look at your right knee, and you can see on this middle level there's some battery switches, and we're going to switch on the battery 1 and battery 2 switches. Okay, when you look at this panel, it's all in English, and at the beginning I did go into the special functions and make sure that the cockpit is in English, otherwise it's going to be in a Russian or Cyrillics, which are funny shapes and squiggles, otherwise known as the Cyrillic alphabet. You've got the middle panel here, which is the electrics, fuel pumps, fuel shutoffs. Moving towards the back, you've got engine control. Okay, so we're going to be using that one quite a lot. Once we've got the battery 1 and battery 2 on, we're going to turn around to the right elbow, and there's a little toggle switch at the right elbow, and we're going to switch that down, which, as you can see, is the Ekran hydraulics.
My favourite.
You're more than welcome. Hey TNT, you're more than welcome to jump in and fly, because once I've gone through this, I'll enable a mission and we can go and do it, which will have one sort of major SAM in it, and then a lot of, say, armor targets, stuff like that, if you're interested. Okay, so once you've done that, we're going to look at the front and we're going to stop the red light from flashing, which is the master caution. Now, because this is the Shark 3, this is where we're going to get the first difference. On the Shark 2, we'd be looking round at the right shoulder and switching on the INU. We're not going to do that in the Shark 3 because it has.
It's early morning.
Oh, right, office earlier. Oh, I do apologise. Okay, so what we're going to do next is skip that and go and carry on with the rest of the buttons. So on the left knee, we're going to see a panel, right? And we're going to switch on this little switch called the KA41. If you hover over a toggle switch, by default, it will show you a tooltip. And it says there, targeting navigation power switch. So we're going to switch that on. If you're in a multiplayer server, very often these tooltips are switched off. And we're going to switch on the Abris. Okay, which is this screen here. We're going to turn round to the right and we're going to switch on fuel flow for the forward, aft and QTY. Once we've done that, we're going to switch on fuel flow for the APU, and you notice that this switch won't go down while that switch is up. Now we're going to look over to the left hand side, and you can see there's a light there on the APU gauge, and that is a fuel flow. So we're going to start the APU by pressing the start button here by the left knee. Hey Ken, I didn't realise the sale was on yesterday, so now's the time to buy. You'll find the Huey half price, the Shark half price, and the Apache with some off but not quite half price. So all the ED modules are half price. Now, off the top of my head, that usually brings the Huey down to about $25 or $24.99. And I think this is about $35. So you can see it's a significant saving. Anyway, so we're going to hit the start button. And then we're going to move down and we're going to press this black ball lever down, which is the rotor brake. You'll see the APU light up. And when it gets up to here, hey, okay, here you Dampy. And we can see the third light come on, which is the APU. So this means the APU is now ready to start the engines. This is a bit of an impromptu stream. I did some the Huey last week. I was teaching someone. This week, he's not had much chance to practice what he was learning, which is fair enough. So I thought, because there's a sale on, I'll go over this and I might do some of the Apache next week. Maybe, depending on the weather, of course. But while there's a sale on, it's a good time to be able to talk about helicopters, because you will get some bargains. If you've got any questions at all, please jump in and say, ask your question. I don't mind. Excuse me. Okay, so now the APU is on and ready, we can start the engines. However, I have a cup of tea that I made a few minutes ago, so I do need to start drinking it, because as we all know, once you get into DCS, your cups of teas and coffees will go stone cold. Right, so once we've done that, we're going to start the first engine. Now, the engines are called left-hand engine and right-hand engine, or they're called engine number 1 and engine number 2.
I bought it last night. What's crazy is Flaming Cliffs was only $12.99, so I bought it an hour later it was $30.
What I was going to say is Flaming Cliffs is a different ball game. One of the problems with Flaming Cliffs is that all the planes are imports from a previous game, so they're not the same quality as you'll get with these modules. So you can't switch the cockpits, which means you've got to put all the controls onto your stick throttle and maybe some keyboard controls, and the flight models aren't the same. So whilst it does seem like a good deal, you get a lot of planes for a little money, relatively speaking, you don't get the quality planes that you get when you buy one of the proper modules. So I would always advise people, if they ask, it's better to save that money and put it into a full module where you're going to get a lot more from it. You'll see what I mean as you start flying. So the flight model is not the same, the model quality isn't the same, the switches aren't switchable. But for the price you paid for it, that's Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that, to be honest. But I used to have Flaming Cliffs years ago, and that's what it was before it became DCS. And then DCS, the first module out was the Shark 1. Wasn't even an English cockpit, and it was a standalone game. So you had Caucasus, which is the map we're on, and you had, then not long after, you'd got the A10C, which was a standalone game, which was A10C and the Caucasus from memory. Okay, right, so where did we get to? We didn't start the engine yet. Okay, so there's engine number 1, which is left, engine number 2, which is right, or left-hand engine and right-hand engine. Those are the two names they're called by. So if we look down here, we're going to start with the left-hand engine.
But DCS modules are like Pokemon. You got to get them all.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hey Kev, it was a bit of a... I wasn't expecting to be streaming this, to be honest. But I thought, hey ho, there's a sale on. So, you know, now's the chance to add to your collection. It's worrying when I went down my list. The very first thing I did on this was I went to show what the special functions are, because it's something I don't do often and I forgot about it till you asked Ken. So I thought before I start, I actually went down and showed you what my settings were. So if you do get the Shark, that's where you need to go. So we're going to look at the right butt cheek and up a bit, right? So it gives you an idea where to look. And we're going to switch on the left-hand engine, or engine number 1, EEG, Electronic Engine Governor. We're going to switch that one up. You're coming in today, Kev, are you busy? We're going to go and switch on the fuel for the left-hand engine. We're going to turn around to the knee, left knee that is. We're going to zoom in a bit and you can see this multi-position toggle switch. So we're going to click it once. Now, before we hit the start button and we started the APU, you can see here when this switch is in the centre, that is the APU start switch.
But for 12.9...
Exactly, yes.
Okay. They must have caught themselves having it too low. I told my mate about it. He said it's not 12.99. It's 29.99.
Did you actually get it for $12.99? That's good. You did a deal then, I'm telling you. But I wouldn't spend $29.99 on it when I could buy this helicopter for $35. I think it's $35. When I could buy the Huey for, is it $24.99? $25? Do you know what I mean? Right, so what I'm going to do now is switch this down one click to the left hand engine position, and I'm going to click the start and then move out so I can see the RPM. Now over here you've got two needles, and if you look, this needle's got a number 1 on it, which is engine number 1, aka the left hand engine. When it gets to 2 or 20%, we're going to move this left-hand engine cutoff up, and you'll see the exhaust gas temperature going round and round.
17 said, I'm being forced to get the fulcrum.
You're being forced to get the fulcrum. Who's forcing you to do that? Is that your other half? I know, it's terrible. Did I buy anything? I haven't bought anything in the sale. Is there anything you want in the DCS sale, Luce? No, because you have got the Huey, the Apache and the Black Shark and the A10. Which ones have you flown? Huey. Mm-hmm. She doesn't even have to fly the bloody Apache. She just has to sit in the front and press buttons.
The full fidelity and the F-18 and the Huey, so I'm good for a while for sure.
Yeah.
BTW loves center stick setting.
Ah, right. Makes a big difference, doesn't it? It's the only way they can properly simulate it.
My missus is more Star Citizen, which is even worse.
Good morning to the missus. Unfortunately, Bobinator, my other half is Star Citizen.
Said, better half flies DCS.
Yes. Yes, and Star Citizen. But the problem is, when she decided to jump into Star Citizen was quite a few years after me. It's one of the reasons why I've nearly got a free doodad. I forgot the name of it. There's a ship you get free when you spend so much, but she's mostly the reason for that. Okay, so when the needle has got up to nearly just over 70%, this is percentage by the way, times 10, so just over 70%, it's in the idle mode. And you can see now that both rotors are going, and at the beginning I told you they go in opposite ways. Right.
Limited 217 said, she's not that bad just yet. Probably still got 250 out of me for ships.
Oh, I made the big mistake when she wanted to come in. What ship would you like? Now bear in mind some of the ships weren't out. And she went, oh, that one's nice. Can I have that? 600i. It was a long time ago, so it wasn't as much as it is now, but yeah. Okay, so now we've got the left engine up, we're going to do the right engine. Exactly the same procedure, except using the right hand buttons. Right hand EEG, right hand fuel shut off. Let's look at the left knee. As I said, it's quite repetitive. Click the button, right hand engine, hit the start. Pull backwards. So you can see this needle here. It's all a bit distorted, isn't it there? Let's get a better view, shall we? There.
She got the Titan, then the Talon, and now a Cutty Black.
Oh, yeah.
She does like the 600 as well, but she can wait for a bit of that.
There we go. We're going to push that one on up. She's got all of those. The Titan she likes. The Cutlass Black she likes. She's got Sabre. She did have a Banu, but that got changed. I can't remember her other ships. Oh, she's got there's the Warden, the Doodad, and the other one. She's got the other one. Right, okay, so once that one goes up to there, what we're going to do here is we're going to switch on the intercom, and we're going to switch on this little switch on the voice warn panel. What that means is, instead of showing us what these messages are, right, it will tell us what they are. If you don't switch these on here, all you'll ever get is a message going, watch ekran, ekran being screen in Russian. So what I'm going to do is move the throttles up, right, 2 notches. Now, it's different to the Shark 2, okay? Because normally we wouldn't do that until later. But we have to align it. Now, I can't remember if this is auto-aligned or not in this mission, but we'll see.
I did learn one thing. When I went to land the Huey, I dropped like a brick. I fell so fast, I think my chair shook. Yeah,
and one of the first things you did as soon as you started to drop was to push the collective or pull the collective up to give it more power. And because you did that, you go down faster. I haven't got onto VRS in yet, and I haven't covered landing with people, but that's one of the things you find out early, and you'll experience that across every single helicopter. Right, 2 clicks of page up.
Electrics on battery. Doppler navigation system failure. No nav data.
Okie dokie. So we got some messages, but that's one of the big things. It's called VRS, or vortex ring state. And it's effectively when you start coming down, if you haven't got any forward momentum and the rate of descent is too quick, you start catching up the turbulent air underneath your rotors. And because the air is turbulent, right, it loses lift. And because you've got no lift, you start to drop. So what people do is push the stick forward, increase the collective. That bites more air, but it makes you drop quicker because you haven't got any air to pull. All right? And all you got to do is move your collective the other way, make your blades flat, and push your cyclic in any direction. and it'll take you about 10 to 15 feet to get out of a VRS. And once you know it, you'll still do it more than you expect, believe me. And that's why it's good to learn with the Huey. The Huey is quite susceptible to it. I have seen people VRS this thing like crazy, and I got them to go to the Huey and learn helicopters with that, which is why I push people that way. Okay, so we had 3 messages. I'm going to put the sun visor on so you can see. First thing was electrics on battery. Electrics on battery just simply mean what it says. The second one was Doppler navigation system failure, which we haven't got on yet. And the third one was no nav data. There is no nav data. If you look, there's no direction. So it needs alignment. The Shark 2 doesn't. So let's have a little look about what happens next. Hopefully it doesn't align, which will be good. So to align it, we need to switch on this navigation system.
The RS is like trying to tread water in a pond.
Exactly.
If you don't get out of it, you're going down.
Exactly. Because when you're trying to tread water, you're scuttling usually and pushing down. But as it's sucking you down anyway, you pushing down is just adding to it sucking you down. It's quite a good expression, that one is, Kev. I like that. Right, I'm going to push this dial round to operate. And now I'm going round to my right shoulder and I'm going to put the INU on, which is Inertial Navigation Unit. And now I'm going to look at the front and fingers crossed, indeed, we have a little indicator. And this little indicator in English means you've got to sit there and wait for 3 minutes while your aircraft aligns. And 3 minutes is more than enough time for me to finish my cup of tea. So I like that. And I'm going to show you the issue that occurs with the Shark 3 that you'll never see on the 2. And if you don't sort it out, you are going to have major issues with it, especially when you're trying to use some of the automated systems. Has anybody got any questions so far? Please don't be shy. Ask me anything about anything. I'll always give you an answer, but if you got any questions about DCS, as I've mentioned...
217 said, I couldn't remember all this. I can only start the hip and gazelle manually.
No, that's fine. This is why I do these videos. When you actually start to see it, take away all the conversation in between, and it's really straightforward. The easiest way to do it is for me to pull my finger out my arse and do what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'll give you some audio tracks as well, and those audio files.
Is it okay if I ask a few questions about DCS?
Of course.
I can wait a few.
Look, when I stream, right, my conversation goes off everywhere. I know it's frustrating for some people, but I'll just get back to where I was. And you just have to cut it out. But as long as someone's learning something, that's fine by me. And if you don't like that style of this stream, then that's fine as well. I don't mind either way. Anyway, so carry on, Ken. Ken's on YouTube, by the way, if you're not seeing the chat in Twitch. You can ask me any questions. There is a minute delay with YouTube, I think, and about 20 seconds with Twitch. So I'm finishing my cup of tea first. It's really good, isn't it? If you want to come in and join me, as soon as I've done the startup and gone through some of the basics, I'm going to fire a mission up.
The fun comes later, but practice does make perfect.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I'll tell you what, it's practice, and it's having somebody to hold your hand. Because if I get round to doing my videos, I will accelerate your learning by a vast amount. That's the idea. So everybody does videos, everybody does this, that and the other, but the technique, whilst it's good and people are extremely knowledgeable, there are some things you can add to that that really help people out, that I'm aware of. You know, I've taught people lots of things, not just helicopters and that, and I have a way of teaching people. And And usually I'll wait till I'm knowledgeable enough about something, but I can teach it in lots of different ways to make sure people understand it. And then the next thing is the retention, which is why I always say, don't write anything down that I'm telling you. And you'll be going, oh, how am I supposed to learn if I don't write it down? Well, just don't. There's the thing.
Flying the Hornet. It was only recently someone taught me how to pre-plan the slams. Now I can do it with ease.
Exactly. Friday night.
Friday night my father-in-law came over seeing me playing DCS. He said
11 CDs.
He came back over with 11 CDs from DCs. Are they still good?
It depends, because what he'll probably have is the original DCS stuff. The keys are usually tied to the modules and will be on his account. He will probably still have an account, and it'll be easier for him to just give you the account, because you won't be able to use the keys, to be honest. And if they're standalone, that is different. It's all been updated since then. All the accounts are held on the DCS website. Excuse me. And if he's been around since the beginning of DCS, okay, it's worth checking. But they may be. Just bear in mind, something like the A10C has gone through 2 or 3 iterations over time, and things have changed, as well a lot of the other things. I'm surprised he's not still flying. Right, okay, so we've noticed now that the 3 minutes is up. I've drunk my cup of tea, which is excellent, it didn't go cold. And now we've got our doodaddy, our heading, our nav data. But as you can see, there's 2 symbols there, and they're exactly 10 degrees apart. So it's gone through an alignment process, but there's a 10-degree discrepancy. This is our heading. This, right, is our trimmer position. Now, if we hit F2, if we hit F10, I like F10 better. We can click on it on our ship. If you don't know how to get to your ship, if you click the triangle or the little paper airplane symbol at the top, that will center the map on you. So for some unknown reason, if you are here and you want to see where your plane is, you click on here and there you are. Okay. If you leave it on, you'll never be able to move the map around, so you take it off again.
The black shark one, it asked for the key. I put it in and it said you have 5 more keys available to use the same key.
Okay, that's fair enough, but it might be the original black shark. There was an update from the black shark to the next black shark, then there was an update to the black shark 2, then there was an update to the black shark 3, from memory.
You've made me want to boot up DCS now.
I told you, you're more than welcome to come in. Password on this is running on my machine, the server. It's Mel12345. I will run a mission up in a minute, but if you do come in, let me know and I'll start the mission already. Okay, so when we click on there, look down here and we can see our heading there. We want the one in white. 177 degrees. When we click on there, our heading is 187 degrees, which is wrong. So we've got to change it. And we change it with this little knob. Now this is what I can't show you when I stream on a Saturday. So we look down here at this little knob. And we've got to change it to 177. Okay. Now this at the moment is showing our magnetic variance. Again, going back to here, if I zoom out all the way, there's a big compass. And if I bring that over the top, as we move across, can you see the way it changes? Look. So you have a magnetic variance for a magnetic north as you move left to right around the world. So if I put it there, we can see it's 7.8. If I look down here at the moment, it's set to 7.8. So 7.8 is this thin line just in front of this fat line. On these numbers, the fattest line is the number. Okay? So you've got to remember that. So I'm going to go and set it to 177, which is going to be faster moving this forward. So I'm going to rotate this round till we're on 177. Again, remember what I said, 177, fat line is 7, which is this one there, I can just see. And then we're going to move this switch here. Let me move that up. This switch, I'll hover to show you what it is. Gyro, mag, manual. Is it manual heading? So we go down and back to the middle. And that's it. Okay. Now I'm going to change this back to 7.8. I'm going to spin it backwards. My mouse has got a clutch on it, which I disable. So when I'm doing things like this, I can just spin the wheel on my mouse, yeah? Which is why it goes round so quick, which is really useful sometimes. And we want 7.8. Now, if I remember right, it was 7.8 is that one, and just a smidgen about there, okay? When we look back into the heading now, you can see that the diamond and the triangle are perfectly aligned. If you do not do that, you will have all sorts of problems, as did I when they changed it to the Shark 3 and I tried to fly it because I didn't know about it. This is why I make a big point of showing you, because it'll catch you out. So sometimes you'll find that these lights don't come on. We'll get to them in a minute. The biggest problem is when you go to fire missiles, your heading is one way, the trimmer is the other way, so your missiles are pointing 10 degrees out. And because they're 10 degrees out, you can't fire them, and the helicopter points in the wrong direction. So you must do it. On some missions, it is set automatically by the mission, so you don't have to do it like when you see us on a Saturday. And for those expecting me to fly, I will be flying, but I like to explain everything to you and why all these tiny little bits that you're not necessarily going to see in a book explained in the way that I'm explaining it. Okay, so once we've done that, we can now carry on with the startup. So we're going to hit VHF 1 on, VHF 2, data link, VHF talk. We're going to move the data link up for here. If there is anyone comes in, wants to fly a Shark, that will be excellent, because then I can demonstrate moving targets between helicopters. Are you back, Liz?
Yeah.
Can you move me up to the DCS channel? I forgot. Okay, I'll do it. It would have saved me switching out, don't worry. I better take her with me. I've moved it because it's easier for you to know when I want a cup of tea. A catch is the word. Okay, so then when we come down to here, we've got 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it says ID number. That identifies you in a group of 4 people. So I'll stay on number 1, and I'm going to change the mode over to wingman. Okay, so we've got a radio frequency, which is currently 124. We've got an ID number and a mode, and that will link all the people who are selecting 1, 2, 3, 4 together. And that means we can send each other targets, and we can receive targets and set targets and communicate. Okay, so when there's 4 of you or more than one, you can work together as a team. It also means that somebody could be closer who's lasing the target for you, and you can fire from a distance a little bit higher up, and as the missile comes over, it will catch the laser of the one in front, and then they can lace on your behalf. Okay, once we've done that, we're going to switch on 3 blue buttons, and you can see the light shining in, so we might not be able to notice the lights light up. So there's pitch hold, bank hold, and heading hold. So unlike the Huey, what this does, it's very similar to the stability augmentation system in the Apache and on the A-10 and some of the other American planes, and it smooths the input for your controls. So again, unlike the Huey, you're not in direct control. There's some system sitting in between you waggling this stick and the action that takes place on the flight control surface. We're going to switch on the ejection seat. Bear in mind this is only $35 and there's so much detail in it. We're going to switch on the fire extinguisher. We're going to turn right the way around, and we're going to switch on the L140 laser, which is on our right shoulder. So this has got a laser that is used for weapons guidance and also range finding. Okay, and we're going to switch on the UV26, which is our countermeasures. If we look up on the top right, we can see we haven't got any countermeasures, and that's interesting. And that's because at the beginning we got 3 messages. Do you remember? I said to you that the first one is electrics on battery. The second one is Doppler navigation system failure. And the third one is no nav data. So the first thing I should have actually done was switched on the generators now that the engine's on. And I forgot. So the generators are down here. AC system generators, left hand, right hand. Now that I've switched those on, you'll see everything that relies on them being switched on suddenly is powered up. When you start doing things or learning, you want to try and learn and repeat. The more you repeat the same process, the more it will sit in your head. And when you've learned the process, then write it down, not the other way around. And the reason being is if you tried to write down what I'm telling you, okay, you would always need a piece of paper in front of you to start up.
Kev said, it's actually $19.99 at the moment.
What, for the shark?
Yep.
Jesus. Lise, can I buy a shark, please? Thank you. I think I'll buy one. And I'll give it away. And you won't know when I'm giving it away, by the way, because I don't advertise it. I don't put it in the title. And if there's only 2 people in my channel, right, and I will still do the giveaway.
Normally $69.99.
And that's the Shark 3 or the Shark 2, Kev. Just make sure.
3.
Bloody hell, yeah, I'll buy one for $19.99. Unless that's like a flash thing, I wonder. Remind me when I'm finishing, I'll go and buy that. $19.99 is probably about 15 quid. And that's worth it. And then I'll give it away on one of my streams just for the hell of it. However, if you've already got it, don't think for a minute that there's no point you being there. Because one of the things I do is you can give it to a friend. You got a mate who you think might be interested. You just give me their details and I'll send it to them instead on your behalf. It's a win-win situation, isn't it? Thanks, Kev. Okay, so we've got power, we've got everything up, we've got weapons. Have we got weapons? Did anyone notice? Don't think we have actually. Nope. So we're nearly ready to go. So one of the things I'm going to do now is stop the APU because we've got power running. So the APU shut-off, now note, the APU shut-off is different. It's got a big red ring. Why has it got a big red ring? Because if you press stop here, you'll stop whatever this is pointing to, the right-hand engine. So it's to stop you just pressing that button there. So we press that one. You'll see the APU starts to wind down. We look over to the right. Okay, we don't need this fuel now, so we can switch it down and press the button. And there we are. One thing I forgot, again, is the nav standby attitude indicator. And we do this as well. Need to oil the engine a little bit, it's a bit squealy as you can hear. And we're going to set this from nav to navigation there. Okay, so anyone got any questions? It's a quiet lot today, isn't it? So what we're going to do now is take off after we got some weapons. So where we're situated on the airbase, not sure if we'll get weapons here. We might do, we might not. So I'll try and see. Okay. The way we get weapons is usually the apostrophe crew. The old-fashioned way was to hit this button, go to ground crew, and go to rearm refuel, and that brings up this screen. We can also, excuse me. We can also call this screen directly by pressing the apostrophe key, or in my case, left alt and apostrophe. So what I'm going to do is move this. I'm going to select the loadout. Now this is, the Shark 3 is a bastard shark. And what I mean by that is it's a KA50 with something on that never ever existed on a KA50, and that is this third weapon station. Okay, the reason why they put this on is because they built the module and were doing work on it. The Russians removed access. Can you imagine? They've been working on it for, I don't know, 18 months, 2 years maybe. Done all the modelling, all the work, and someone says, no, you can't do that now. Can't put those mods on. So what they've done is still charged, there's an upgrade price to the Shark 3 normally. And they're still charged a bit extra, but they've given you some extra weapons that this plane would never normally have, which are air-to-air weapons. They're a ball's ache, and I don't bother with them, to be honest. But it's a nice try. This whole module is much better detailed and will look much better in VR than the Shark 2. So it was a rebuild from the ground up. It is really nice, to be honest. Once I've done that, I'm going to select OK, and then we'll look at the top.
Request refueling.
And see if we get a copy.
Request rearming. Copy.
We did get a copy. And this is something I find inconsistent, right? Because if we look down here, oh, look, it's on ground crew by default. That's smart. So normally what would... This is something I've never clocked before. The default position for this is over here. Okay? You cannot... You used to be able to, in the old days, open the door, shout out the window for the ground crew to reload your weapons. And then what happened was suddenly you couldn't do that anymore. You could open the door and they wouldn't hear you. If your APU or your engines are on, they can't hear you, which is fairly obvious. So people used to stop the helicopter, open the door, shout out and get rearmed. However, what you really needed to do, because they implemented it, was just simply turn this to ground crew. When you turn it to ground crew, you got a radio system to the ground crew and you'll get rearm reloaded. When you finish with it, you must switch it back. If you don't switch it back, then this doesn't work.
Thanks for the raid, Dampy.
Hey, Dampy.
And welcome you 48 lovely people.
Thank you very much for the raid.
KA50 said, Mwah.
You're right. So what I was going to say, by the way, is it going to auto shout you out, Dampy? That's what I want to know.
Wonderful.
Excellent. See if it shouts you out automatically. It should do. If not, I might have to put the manual shout out on if it's available. Oh, it was done at the beginning. There it is right after. Excellent. Thank you, Dampy. For the benefit of Dampy's viewers, can I just point out that we are literally just going through the shark, so I may bore the pants off you. The reason why we're going through the shark, and we've nearly finished, is because there's a sale on. Last week I was doing the Huey, and I thought, why not? I'll just jump on. I wasn't planning on streaming. I'll do the shark. Next week I may or may not do the Apache. There's a sale on. Now's a good time to buy helicopters. And if you want to learn the Apache, always start with the Huey first, because once you get the grips of that, then that gets you on the way to any helicopter. If you then go to the Shark, that will give you a leg up for the Apache. And then by the time you get to the Apache, everything feels a lot easier than it was before. Anyway, we're nearly finished, so I've just loaded up with weapons and just telling people about turning this back. I've got nobody in-game with me, so there's no radio voice comms or anything like that. Okay, so this thing started up and ready to go.
Was doing a lot of PvP for 2.5 hours, got a few good kills in
Oh, excellent.
15 and had a really good time.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's quite good. I'll tell you what I like doing PvP in most, and that is World War II stuff. For the same reason why I quite like the Huey. When you're flying World War II planes, you're flying World War II planes. There's no systems.
World War II stuff is fun.
Oh man, it's brilliant, isn't it? And it's the closest thing I think. It's basically you flying the plane, not you learning the systems and making the plane or the helicopter do what you want. It's just, seat of the pants flying, and it's your skill. With some of the other planes, not taking anything away there, Dampy. As you start moving forward on the technology, you start bringing BVR and stuff in. You're firing at something that you can't even see, or you can fire a missile, even in the F-18, at something you can't even see. So you think, well, why am I wasting time getting in a plane? I wish we could fly drones in this. I would love it, because you just send a drone over and you sit there and you don't get shot down, do you? Or you don't die. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's quite good, matey. So, we're ready to take off, and one of the first things I need to do is put the axis on. The reason I put the axis on is so that you can see what I'm doing.
Fitz said, in reinstalling fresh after 2-year break. Excited to get back in.
Oh no, definitely. It's really good, and just for the benefit of people, I mean, there's some people worth flying with, and you can have a good time. Now, you've got to be aware that there's a mixture of servers and a mixture of groups, and they all serve the purpose. I was once in a group years ago, and I had to take qualifications before I was even allowed to go on the server. Yeah, no worries, Dampy. No worries. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Please don't feel obliged to stay. If you've got better things to do, that's absolutely fine. Cheers, Dampy. So, one of the things that you can see with this is what your axis are doing. And the reason I put it on is so you can see what I'm doing. Now, the middle here, can you see the helicopter just wobble a little bit? Is my cyclic. On the bottom is my rudder. And this one that moves up is my collective. Okay? This doesn't do anything in there. And you can see there's a brake flashing. So in the Shark, I always want this brake flashing unless I am going to take off on a runway. One of the things with a shark is when you take off, you will go backwards. In the Huey, it lifts up, goes forwards, rolls right, okay, and will spin round. In this thing, it goes backwards. Now, I don't know what's behind me. Let's have a look. Right, I can't see what's behind me. And I would also, I could be in a built-up area. I could have trucks behind me. I can have people behind me. So when I start to take off to stop me going backwards, I'm going to have to push my cyclic forward. And if the brakes weren't on, as soon as I start doing this, this thing's going to roll forward. If you're on a FARP, on a parking bay, on a FARP, you will fall off the edge and probably damage your helicopter.
Others can resupply and have a real mission again.
Oh yeah, if it's like on our Saturday missions, Fitz, the Caesar, which is and all sorts of things like that, and logistics are in so many missions. And if obviously you've just come from Dampy and you're with Dampy, that's fine. Hey matey.
Mel buddy, that trimmer setting under special now, is that supposed to be default or the other thing?
You want it on centre position. And if you weren't sure where it is, you more than thank you very much for the follow, Coffee Bean.
Mel said, thank you for the follow. Flying koi.
Yeah, you're welcome, 404. Hey, yeah, so if anyone wants to come and fly with us on Saturday, we are doing quite a heavy mission, and we need logistics, and we need people picking up, pilots picking up, we need logistics, we need helicopters with gunners in sometimes on some of the missions. We also need cap because it's a persistent mission, which means it saves itself when we switch it off or whatever, and it'll carry on from where it goes.
If you let me on the server, I'd be on there all the time.
The problem is on that server, as soon as somebody's on it, the enemy start attacking our bases, and when they start attacking our bases, right, we've got no one to defend them, so you can't really go on unless there's 2 or 3 of you, and then you can go on, and you've got to follow the mission, i.e. attack this, attack that, blow this runway up, because the second you stop, we lose all the work that we've done.
See. It's not personal.
Now, do you understand? That's what happens. This server is on my computer, so I run a dedicated server on my computer when I'm doing training. So I run a server on, and I'm the client, but if my client crashes, the server carries on. Okay, right, where are we? So what we're going to do is take off. If I take off the brakes, this is going to roll on the floor, and I don't want it to roll on the floor. So as I start to increase my collective, the collective is the pitch on the blades. With a helicopter, the rotor turns round at a fixed rate. Okay? The only adjustment you've got is the pitch on the blades. You increase the pitch and it gives you lift.
And most the other helos except the Kiowa.
Yeah, the reason for that is the Eagle Dynamics helicopters are cheaper. They're about 50% or more. The non-Eagle Dynamics are cheaper in some cases, but then some of the small companies, if you think about it, some of these helicopters are made by a 3-man team. You make that half price suddenly, and that's half price divided by 3. It's not quite like the volume that you've got with Eagle Dynamics, so you understand it. Do you know what I mean? From what Kev was telling me, the Shark 3 was $19.99. Was it? Yeah, $19.99. So I'm going to pick one up after, and on Saturday or some other day I'll do it as a prize.
We'll have to pick it up this week. I prefer
Oh, that's fine. There's a lot of heli work in our missions on Saturdays, as I've said. All you need to do is communicate with us, and we're not formal, right? So the objective of what we do is to try and encourage people to play. So yes, we need to sort of follow a general guideline, but we're not as formal as some of the other servers. I did belong to a virtual wing, but some of the others, when I tried to drag them along, found it too strict. So that's why I don't do it anymore. So I'm not that strict. I try and educate. Okay, so I'm going to push the collective, or pull the collective, whichever way you like, increase the pitch on the blades, and I'm going to push my stick forward as soon as we start to lift up. Look, there we go, push forward, so we go forward. Now I'm just
to knock the rust off first before I even think of online for anything.
That's fine. No, I understand that. I understand that. Again, you know, usually just come. You can still come along. Just don't panic too much. And as long as you're not there by yourself, it's fine. And if anyone wants to jump in, I will do a mission in a minute. If anyone wants to jump in, feel free. Right, so now that we're up, we've got the gear. Let me just check something. Does this button do gear? Oh my god, it does. After all that time, I forget. Oh, it does that as well, does it? Didn't want that on. Right, so we're just floating. I am not touching the controls at all. If you notice, the diamond is moved forward and it's trimmed. And if we look into the hood, we'll see exactly what's going on. So, this tiny little line here indicates which way I'm drifting, and the length of the line reflects the speed. At the moment, the speed or velocity or velocity is 8 kilometers, and the height is 52 meters and slightly dropping. This little line, as I move faster, will grow. As soon as it hits 50 kilometers, it'll disappear. Now you might wonder, why do we need this? And if we look outside, all right, it's quite easy to see which way we're moving, forward, slightly left. If you were over the sea, over snow, over the desert, or above the clouds, you wouldn't know which way you were going, especially if the clouds were moving or the water's moving. So that's why less than 50, you've got this little line. At the top, you can see our heading, and we had to do alignment on this because it's the Shark 3. So our heading is 180 degrees. The trimmer setting...
Looks like it will take a month to remap all the controls and switches. It's a love-hate. Still excited to get back flying again.
It's not that bad. It's just a case of remembering the things you need.
Chef 404
Yep.
said, where do you go to learn proper flying stuff? Like how to bank, turn properly, what angle, speed, how to manage throttle to conserve fuel, etc.
It's... I think it depends what you're flying, right? And one of the good sources of information, but it depends on whether you learn by reading. There's different methods of people learn, and some people can learn by reading, which is, I can learn by reading, it's not an issue. Some people learn by watching, some can learn by listening, and some can learn by doing. And what you have to do is do a combination or identify what you are. For instance, if you can learn by reading and you want to learn set pieces, if you look at Chuck's guides, so if you do !CHUCKS in chat, you'll find a whole selection of very well illustrated documents that will show you pictorially and give you a step-by-step guide. Okay, if you just want raw reference material, if you look in the docs channel under your game, you'll find the manuals for every single module you've got. Some, depending on whether they're early access or full release, there's more detail or not. But the A10C, for instance, is somewhere between 500 or 600 pages long. Okay, so it depends on how you learn. Some places you can learn, there's people like me who will teach you. There's also a lot of videos there is a lot of training videos. DPAC is a good one. If you want to learn Apache, you've got Doodad, whatever his name is, I forget. Casmo. You've got Red Kite, Ralphie. There's quite a few. And if you type it in what you want to know, you will find that information. But where people learn by listening and doing, it's difficult when you've got a video playing, because you might miss something, then you've got to stop it, then you've got to try and do it, then you've got to start it, and so on and so on. As I said, when I get round to it.
Military tactics side after that. How
Yeah.
to approach a target, formation flying, refueling side.
Oh, there's all of that, but you just build that up. You start off by trying to understand the thing that you've got first, right? And you just go through. I mean, A10C I'm going through with someone. I'm on ILS next Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. If anyone wants to join in with an A10C who's never done ILS, you're more than welcome. That's ILS. So we'll go through the process as a dry run and then turn the fog on. And then you land blind using ILS, which is basically what it's for. So it just depends. But I mean, for the A10C, it took me 60 hours of my time to teach somebody once, but spread over 6 months. You can't take in what I'm telling you in one go.
Much material out there
Yeah.
for each learning style.
There is.
With basic flight and stay alive, then learn combat.
Yeah.
And stuff.
And there's still a little smidge which I've identified where I can do something that everybody else hasn't done yet, which is what I want to do. And as soon as I do it, everybody will do it, I know, but I don't mind. As long as someone's learning, as long as it's getting the word out, because some people see this sometimes as it is very niche, and it's quite concerning when you see there's about 100 viewers, or sometimes there's 8 viewers in the morning when I start a stream on a Saturday, 8 on DCS. And it's because people will switch off after a point, especially when you present them with big books and manuals. Yeah, I've done that one. Can you do the link for me, please, Kev? The link still works. Right, so anyway, back to this, but please feel free, ask me questions. Right, this is the trimmer that is holding this. And what does the trimmer do? In the Huey, which we were talking about last week, it trims the cyclic. There's Chuck's guides. Thanks, Kev. He's got a lot on all planes. Have a look through some of those documents, 404, and you'll see what I mean, especially for set pieces. Say you want to fire a missile at something, he'll show you how to set it all up and how to make it work, which is really, really good, depending on what you're flying. So if we look at this, this is completely hands-free, okay? It's just floating around. Now, if I move my stick forward, you'll see as soon as I move forward and relax, the helicopter just comes back. If I move it left, the response is not very good, yeah? If I move my pedals a little bit, move it over there, it feels like it's resisting me. And this is one of the biggest complaints about this helicopter. And the reason it's resisting you is because the trimmer is trimmed. The trimmer holds 20% authority over your controls. Imagine you've got a range of controls from 0 to 100. The trimmer can manage the first 20%, which is pretty phenomenal, really. So for me to make this move, I've got to push my controls 21% just to get it to start moving. And if I want it to move more, I've got to push even more. So for instance,
question
yeah.
for me. How to recover out of VRS and not crash. I have flown for years fixed wing IRL. VRS confuses me.
Okay, VRS. When a helicopter flies, okay, there is a video. The trouble is with a video, excuse me, and it's I can't remember the technique, but the technique to get out of the VRS is fine for real life, but not necessarily for the game. It's a little bit more difficult. But one of the things it does is shows you smoke around the blades of the helicopter, which shows you what your pattern is. So I can't show you by moving the mouse, but imagine the swirly circles at the ends of the blades, and the blades are pulling air from above, pushing it down, lifting you up. Okay, in a nutshell, sort of very low key. What a VRS is when you start to descend and you have no speed. So when you've got those nice patterns of air sitting at your wingtips, when you start to drop too fast, you're moving into those patterns of air, and instead of generating lift, they become turbulent, and when they become turbulent, your lift disappears. And because your lift disappears, you start to drop out the sky. When you drop out the sky, the most obvious thing to do is to give more collective, more power, more of something, and that will stop you, except it won't. Because all you're doing is increasing the pitch on the blades and making the problem worse. Therefore, you will drop faster. That's it. In reality, you can get out of a VRS usually within about a drop of 10 to 15 feet if you realise that that is what's happening and you're more than 15 feet in the air. All you've got to do, and this is counterintuitive, right, is flatten the blades on your rotor. So instead of, right, having them with an angle on to give you lift, you flatten them. So depending on how you've got your stick, you either push this collective down, or if you've got your throttle set so that you basically push forward to give it more and pull back to give it less, you pull it back so you've got no lift at all, and you push, right, your stick in any direction. And as soon as the helicopter starts to move, you'll move out of the turbulent air and it'll start to give you lift again, and then you can apply a little bit of collective.
Kev said, view each
Vulture, that's it. Thank you, Kev. So if you go and look up, I did have a link for it once, but if you look up the Vulture recovery technique, don't try and use that technique, right? Just do what I said. Flatten your blades, move your stick in any direction. If you look at that, he'll show you the airflow around your blades, what it should look like, and what it looks like in a VRS. Okay? So that's all you need to do. You flatten your blades and you push your stick, and you can get out of a VRS like that. That was me snapping my fingers to show you, but you would have heard it. Now, sometimes you can't. And I mean, I've got out of a few.
The best I have heard. You're stable in the vortex.
Yeah. You're basically moving out of the turbulent air, and so you're generating it again. What you've got to think of in flight, I don't know whether it's with helicopter pilots when they learn, but they refer to the rotors as a spinning disc. Imagine you've got the lid off a tub of margarine that's round, and it's like a disc. Okay? Now, the rules, when you'll see when we start moving, when I move, the blades will lift on 90 degrees, right, of whichever direction that they go. So it's like having a tilting disc. When it's flat, right, it's basically capturing as much air as it can. When you start moving your stick forward, it'll start to generate lift, and then you can apply some more collective, and you'll just come out to your VRS. And you can tell it's happening because your helicopter will shake like crazy. And sometimes the Chinook is really difficult because it will suddenly do it. And if you're doing any cargo, or you've got your helicopter full of heavy guys, it will make a difference. If you're flying around in the Huey and you've got all the weapons on and so on, It doesn't take much to go into a VRS. That's why I always say learn the Huey first. It'll VRS at the drop of a hat, but you learn to get out of it. You learn the feel of it, and then go to this, and then go to the Apache. But that's basically what it'll be. Right, so we're back on the trimmer. I do apologise, it is bitty, but all the information's here and people are learning by asking questions, so feel free. I'm now going to push my stick forward and speed up. And then I'm going to push my stick to the left. You can see the line getting bigger, you can see the velocity increasing, you can see the helicopter shaking a bit, and I'm going to head over here. And I'm now pushing my controls, which then control mechanics, which then control the flight control surfaces. Right? And now I'm going to let go of everything and watch what happens. So the helicopter, now bearing in mind there is some wind on this server, I think. Let's look at the smoke.
I find if you keep moving in any direction and keep your descent rate at 500 fpm more or less when entering a hopper, then you should be okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it doesn't happen, because when you are, sometimes you can descend as fast as you want, providing you're moving. That's the trick. So if you want to come down really fast, you can, but you can't do it in one place. If you watch films, sometimes you'll see helicopters just drop down in a straight line and land. That's not real. As long as you're moving out of the turbulent airflow that you're going to generate. And that's the trick. As long as there's always new air to eat, it'll be fine. Okay, look, it's back down to 4. It's going in the same direction as it was before. The only thing that's changed is the height. The trimmer is that strong in this thing, right? And once you set it, you can literally sit with your feet folded and your arms folded, or enjoy a cup of tea, which sounds like a good idea if anybody wants to. Is there a ding set up yet? I don't think I've done one, have I? I'll have to do one. Right. So what do we do? How do we fly it? So what we've got to do is disable the trimmer. How do we disable the trimmer? We hold the button. So I don't know where the trimmer button is on this, to be honest. It's somewhere. On my joystick, my trimmer, I try and keep it consistent with all helicopters. The Huey, as soon as you touch the trimmer, it's set. This thing only sets when you let go of the trimmer. So if I press and hold the trimmer, right, you'll see my helicopter now is nice and smooth, and I'm in control of it because I have disengaged the trimmer. Okay, and if we watch in the hood, as soon as I let go of the trimmer, right, the diamond, which represents where the trimmer's set, is going to snap to my heading, and there we go. That's it. Now the helicopter's flying off over in that direction. So when you're flying and manoeuvring and doing small stuff, especially when you're moving in for some targets or so on, just press and hold the trimmer. Coming into land, press and hold the trimmer. Now there's a trimmer reset on this. Do you press the trimmer reset? No, you bloody well don't. Why don't you? Because I'll show you. Okay. Are you going to press the trimmer reset? No. Okay. And the what's his name? The Apache doesn't have a trimmer reset in real life, but some complete stupid shits, excuse my French, they moaned that much that Eagle Dynamics put a trimmer reset in. Why on earth would you be doing a trimmer reset? The trimmer works in the same way as this does, but without that 20%. The trimmer in an Apache is about 6% for pitch and 4% for rotation. So it can't hold the helicopter as much as this can with, you know, input. But they insisted on having a trimmer reset because they didn't understand. They came from planes, most people, and needed the Apache because, and then complain like shit. That's fine.
Apologies. Went to clean the car and realised I don't have the wits I need. So I play DCS instead.
Oh dear. Do you see what I mean? So now, look at, I'm flying this. I'm just adjusting. I'm holding the trimmer. And when it's going where I want, I let go of the trimmer. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to reset the bloody trimmer. Jesus. You saw what happened. Right? I want to come down and land. Going a little bit quick. Now, here's another thing I'll show you with this. You have to be careful. If you look at the blades, remember earlier I said that the blades will lift 90 degrees to the direction of travel. Well, that also depends on which way round your blade is going. So,
I have everything you need. You can clean mine.
and then you can lend those as well. That'll be a long plane ride. So the top blade rotates one way, right, and lifts on the left. That is fairly standard for that direction. The bottom blade rotates the opposite direction. Therefore, it lifts on the right. And as you can see, the blades on the right are getting closer and closer. And the faster I go, the more they lift. And the more they lift, the closer they get. So you have to be careful. So I'll run this up a little bit quicker. And you'll see you can get them really, really close. And going closer than that. Now, one of the things you must be really aware of is if you are going to do any sudden movements, you don't do them when it's going fast. Because remember, all our control surfaces are the blades. So when I start throwing in heavy cyclic or heavy rudder, that's going to impact the blades, and that action is likely to force these blades even closer together. And that will cause a blade strike, which means that the blades will hit each other, okay? And when they hit each other, they break off. When they break off, this thing jiggles around like I don't know what and drops out the sky. But fortunately, you've got a seat ejection system, which is why you've got one. And you would think, well, why on earth would it be allowed to do that? And that's a little bit like saying you can run really, really fast, but the faster you run, if you sort of fall over a bit, you're going to damage yourself more. So we'll slow you down and stop you running as fast as you can. And that makes you feel restrained. And if you're a pilot, you can make this thing do things it shouldn't do, right? And still survive it. Whereas if it's restrained, it might not help.
What am I cleaning?
What are you cleaning? Oh, cleaning his car. He's got all the stuff. So if you clean his car, you can clean your car. Except you're probably... Are you in the States?
Have a great day.
Here you
Gotta
can...
take the wife shopping. It's too hot here, 97 degrees.
It's too hot here as well, to be fair. But it's not 97 degrees yet. It is going to get hot soon.
Kev said
Right.
M3.
Yeah, it's a cart. Or the whole of the motorway, your choice. See you, Ken.
Winter 217 said, tag bigger than my Fiesta.
It is a... Oh, you in the UK, are you? You can probably reach him. You probably live down the road. It'll take me probably about 2 to 3 hours to clean it properly. Right. Anybody got any questions on the Shark so far? Is everybody okay with it? Anybody want to come in? I'm going to start a simple mission. Well, I say simple. We'll start this one down here, I think. She's a bit of a distance.
Truck is in the driveway while you're at it. She needs a bath.
Right, so anybody want to come in? This is just on Corks's. There's a simplish little mission. If you want to come in and do it, you can. It might be a bit of a trek down, and then we can do some sending targets to each other, which I can't do when there's only us on.
217 said, what's the mission name?
It's a mission called Krasnodar. Krasnodar. Oh, God. What's it called, Kev? I forget. Krasnodar Variable Ground Attack. Right, that does that as well. Don't want that in, do I? So if anybody wants to come in, you're welcome. And then what we'll do is set up and go down there. I need to refuel because I've been talking for so long. And I'll run out of fuel getting there. As I'm slowing down, I'm lifting the nose up, dropping the collective. You can see it slowing down. I didn't want to do any big turns while we're going quite quick. Stopping it going down now. See the speed's dropping. Let me put this back on so you can see it. We're less than 50. Now I'm using that line to pull. I've got the trimmer in and I'm pulling back the helicopter in the direction or opposite direction of the line. And turn around and go over there. As you can see, it flies incredibly smooth. There was one.
Said, install of my game and modules just completed. Got to set up the VR and the mapping and hope to fly tonight.
Ah, fair enough. So I'm just slowing down now. Now, one of the things I didn't mention, and this is the same for any of the helicopters, unless you've got a force feedback device, you need to be aware of what you need to do with the trimmer, and I'll show you that in a minute. Once I've refueled. Now remember, my brakes are on. I'm not going to suddenly roll forward when I hit the ground. I mean when I land, not hit the ground. Right, I'll just refuel and then we can go down to the mission. Starting to get a little bit warm now. I've talked my way through, is it 22%, 23% of the fuel.
Request refueling.
Let me put my fan on. The fan's going to trigger the mic a little bit, but it's getting a little bit warm now.
Bovinator 217 said, I do need to properly learn the car. I'm usually flying the Hind, which is a pain.
The Hind is quite good. Why it's a pain is probably the retreating blade, is it? Where when you start going a certain speed, it rolls over to the right. It's nice, but it's better with two, isn't it? It's the same as any two-person plane. It's much better when there's two people in it. So I'm going to fire off a mission. If anyone wants to come along, you are welcome. We've got rockets, obviously guns, and I'll go through the weapons system. And we've got some missiles. Yeah, I know what you mean. Right. Okay, so we've got everything. I'm going to start the mission. This particular mission, by the way, let me just go through it for you. It's really good if you're learning. Okay.
Rearming complete.
Let me come out of this. Press left Alt and B to bring the mission up. So I always use it for training. Always use it as a training mission. You've got a number of areas: easy, medium, hard, very hard, make-up strike, bridge strike, carrier strike, and command strike. Okay, you've got a whole series.
When I flew UH-1 and Me-8, I would set up the fan on my left side in VR and lean out the window and
Oh, and get a breeze. That's a good way of doing it. I like that. Yeah, it's really hot for VR today. Okay, so these are helicopter missions in this area. Okay, these there's about 5 missions there, which are really easy, fairly static. When you're learning, it's great. These are medium. It's more shooty back. This is harder. You've got SAMs in there, and you've got SA-10s or 11s in there, depending on the mission. Each area has got a number of missions. If you fly into the area, it will do a random mission, or you can choose the mission from the menu, which I'm going to do. These ones, make up strike, bridge strike, carrier strike, are all strikes. In this one here,
217 said, is SRS set up for this mission by any chance? Just so I know to get my mic working.
Get your mic working, but you can use SRS isn't on, but you can use internal. So the internal works fine. If you know how to do that. If not, let me ask and I'll show you. It's quite easy to do. So these are strike missions. They've got SAMs and they've also got things that will shoot you. And you're supposed to literally blow up a plane there, break a bridge there, destroy a carrier and hit the command post. And then the mission's over. However, when we play it, when we're practicing, we do everything except the thing that triggers the mission to finish. So we do that last. Right, you've also got these helicopter ones, which are really good, to be fair. But what I'm going to do is this bridge strike. It's a bit far, but if anyone wants to come, you're welcome. These are all the different types of things you can fly. Okay, this gives you a good briefing and it shows you the different zones, what the strike missions are. These are the threats that you could possibly get. As I said, it scales up and they are fixed missions. And then you've got what the wind is down here.
Thank you for the follow, Fitz.
Thanks for the follow there.
Mel said, thank you for the follow, Fitz.
If we move this on, it gives you a ton of information about the whole of the mission. These are all the helicopter missions built in. Number 3 is really good.
217 said, time to kick the tires and light the fires.
And then when we go on to here, it's giving you even more briefings. Here's the different strikes. There's the bridge strike. So you could go in, destroy the bridge, destroy the truck on the bridge. That's it, job done. But where's the fun in that? Okay, here's the helicopter missions. This is number 3, which is really, really good. That was way before the Chinook was out. There's a sling loading mission, medivacs, general hunt. I always thought general hunt was just hunting for things, but actually it's a general that you look for. Never done it. A group of us have never done that.
Worked all night and winding down. Wanted to be able to find the channel again.
Ah, right, yeah, no worries. Yeah, don't come on if you've been working all night, whatever you do. It'll completely ruin your, your go to bed time. Right, so you get the gist. So you can start the missions using the main audio there, and we're going to select a strike mission. And now we go in and choose which strike mission do we want. And I want the bridge strike mission. And then we'll get a briefing that you'll hear in a minute.
The small town of Defanovka lies along the only highway that is being used by the enemy to resupply their troops pushing on our coastal cities. We need you to take out the only bridge that runs through the town. The enemy has fortified the bridge, making it all but impossible for a ground attack team to take it out. Get in and out quickly. The enemy has AAA and SAM assets located at the bridge.
Okay. Right, so I think which one is it? It's not that one, it's this one here, look. All the stuff's not covered up, but we could cover it up, but as I said, it's a training one. So you can see all the stuff that's here. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to manage anything with this, to be honest, with just me, but that's the mission we need to do, and it's mission waypoint number 4, which I suspect in the shark will be number 5. So I'll show you what I mean. So if we go search and we use this data input knob, select waypoints. These are all the different waypoints, and it depends upon the person who's written the mission, because that tells me nothing, just shows me a picture. So I think it's waypoint, let's have a look, 6 in this helicopter. I think that's the place there. So I hit 2 and you see it's 73 kilometers away. Okay, if we look and we choose the little parallel lines, we can measure 40 miles, change that to kilometers, 75. That's it, one. That's the one we want. Okay, now whether I'll be able to use any weapons or shoot anything or get shot down remains to be seen. If you want to join in, there's about 4 sharks, so please feel free. Right, so we're going to take off. Now, one thing I didn't mention about trimming, and I'll show you now. Let's reset that first. I'm holding the trimmer now when I take off, push it forward, and what I want to show you is when you use center trimming position in DCS, one of the things you need to make sure is that you remember to reset. Yeah, the password is MELL12345, all lowercase. The mission was by Apache 600, and he's done quite a few missions, and they're really quite good fun. Yeah, it's my answer. I don't mind giving this out, and as I said, it will disappear when I disappear. Right, okay, so I'm going to move along. Right, I'm holding the trimmer in, which means I'm setting it. Interestingly, why can't I see my waypoint? There it is. It's really quite difficult to see. It is this direction. Can you see that green line? There we go. Right, now I'm going to let go of the trimmer switch. Right, but I haven't centered my stick, so look at my stick. In real life, I am now moving my stick the whole range around my joystick base. Okay, what I haven't done is when I hit the trimmer button or let go of the trimmer button, I never let my stick return to center. If you don't do that in a helicopter and use center trimming, you've got no input. If you panic and you forget, you've got no control over your helicopter. What, and make a drink? Already?
Yeah, I've come with it.
Are you struggling? Struggling with a mission?
No, I'm just tired.
Okay. If you make a drink first before you go to sleep, that will be really good. So I'm going to relax my stick in real life and watch. You'll see a little wiggle. And now I've got control of my stick back. Alright? So just bear that in mind. Was that a deep sigh I heard? Was that a deep sigh? Oh, that's alright then. Don't make it too strong, not too milky, no sugar.
Yeah.
You ate all your chocolate?
No, I haven't.
How many you ate?
2.
2, okay, I'll let you off.
I'll shut up now.
Well, I wondered if you was having a bit of a sugar rush and turning dopey. That was the sigh. I like to see how many sighs I can get. Right, anyone got any questions? Now, while we're going along, one of the things I haven't done, I haven't put my weapon system on. I usually do it when I get there, but this is a bit more active. And I'm going to pop this up here. Okay. For weapons at the moment, I've got laser guided missiles called Vickers. I've got some bog standard general purpose rockets called rockets, that's all I know. And then I've got high explosive and armor piercing. It could be 20mm or 30mm rounds. So on the side of this thing, there is a cannon, and you can see it just here, sticking out. And I can either fire it so that it just fires directly on the front. Oh, I haven't seen that for a long time. There we go. Or I can fire it where it's controlled by the Schwar. So that little jump was somebody coming in over here who's in a gazelle. Right, it's a bit of a fly down there. Anyone got any questions? If anybody wants to try and win, as long as I can get this $19.99 ship. That, oh, I might be able to do it on my phone. Let me have a look. Depends if I've got the password saved. So while I'm flying down there, I'll see if I can buy another shark, and then I'll give it away on one of the streams. I'm streaming on Wednesday, but that's 18, so that's not going to be quite so relevant, is it? I'm just edging my collective up a little bit. Try and stop it coming down. Okay, Eagle Dynamics. See if it'll accept the login. Yes, it did. Need a verification as well. See, this is what I like about this trimmer. It allows you to have a cup of tea and do things. There we go. So I'm going to get to the shop. I mean, that is a bit of a bargain, to be honest. That one. It says DCS Shark is $35 on the website, Kev. So I'm not sure where you've seen it at $19.99. Ouch, it's getting really warm now, isn't it? $35. I thought $19.99 was a bit of a cheap one. Make sure I'm going to the right direction, which it looks like I am. That's good. So here's my target. And once I've gone over this forest, which is not great, it means I'm going to be up high, I might be able to pick up this river and sneak through and see what I can see. And you'll see how good the shark is at moving around. Now,
the small town of Defanovka lies along the only highway that's
I'm just going to switch
by the
this
enemy to resupply their troops pushing on our coastal cities.
Oh, hang on. Your air miles, isn't it?
The enemy has fortified the bridge, making
No, that's fine. That's fine, Bob. This mission's called Krasnodar Variable Ground Attack by Apache 600. If someone can spell it and type it in with an exclamation mark before it, it will give you a link.
No, that's not including my miles.
Oh, really? I think I might have some miles. I'll have a look in a minute. There we go. Thanks, Kev. So if you go there and have a look, get the latest version. It's a really good practice mission. If you look at some of the comments, even when it first came out years and years ago, you'll find I recommended it then. It is set piece missions. Once you get round to the end, you'll find it's quite easy to do, even at the hardest, excuse me. And 3 of us once decided to have a go at the hardest mission there is in Black Sharks only. That was what was his? Oh, do you know what? I forgot his name. But there were 3 of us, and we did it. But it was a lot of effort, and it was really well put together because there were so few places to hide. Hopefully the audio volume's fine, the picture quality's fine, I hope. And that goes for the YouTube and for Twitch. I was being moaned at on Twitch, or they were moaning about the figures going through because it was saying 7.9 gig. I was pushing. I can go to 4K on Twitch, but I don't think they'd like it. I don't use the systems that they want. How far we got to go? 49k. Unfortunately, I can't press a button and speed it up. Got the other guy on his way yet? Oh yeah, there he is. I tell you what, the amount of times when I'm streaming, the amount of people who haven't played for a while and then suddenly just feel the urge. Do you know what I mean? Caucasus is the first map. It's also free, and when I started playing there was no such thing as forests like this. The forests were actually sheets of 1 pixel thick pictures in 3 or 4 layers. So when you looked from above it looked like a forest, but when we started flying helicopters it looked like 3 or 4 sheets of pixels. Thanks, Cock. Right, so yeah, so now every single tree is collidable, and they're all individuals. The trees that you used to get on the original map, you'd get for the forests, you'd get all these like layers, but most of the trees floated. So when you were low down, you could see that they were just floating above the map. Not only that, you could fly through trees or anything, and you had to pretend, right, that you couldn't, or you were told you were cheating. And obviously if something
217 said the best air defense, the tree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well there's a troop, right, if you've ever watched any of our streams, there's a guy from Sweden called Pup, and there's a troop of crack trained squirrels, and they basically sit in the tops of the trees waiting for him. And if he gets too close, you see this little muscly arm of a squirrel reach up, grab him and pull him into the trees. And if you listen carefully, all you can ever hear is him just chuckling. And when he's chuckling, you know that a squirrel's got him. Right, so we're coming down to this lot. You can see if I go over here, I'm going to be really high, so I might try and go off this way slightly towards the TV tower and then come along the river. But again, the river's just so tree bound. It's really difficult to get a view in there. It might be that we come in from this way. That might be a better premise, but I know there's Sam's over there, so I am going to have to be careful. If I get shot down straight away, well, fair enough. Got a nice open patch here, look, as you can see. I've dropped off the speaker bot and also the if there was anybody in talking to me on TeamSpeak, which there isn't today, because I found that when you listen back it's too much echo, isn't it, where you hear it and then you also hear it through there. Let's see if his radio's working. Make sure mine is, yeah, looks switched. 124 radio check. Probably not.
One second.
That's alright, don't worry if it's not set up. It's not, as I said, all you've got to do is go into on options, which you might not be able to do, and just make sure it's switched on. And push to talk. And that's it really, but you might not be able to do it while you're flying. Well, I need to go just a little bit higher. I'm holding my trimmer in. Just lifting my nose
Jeff
up.
said, sent you a link via WhatsApp.
What, to me, yeah? What, to your 1999? Because that's really odd.
Yeah.
I wonder if it works for me. But then you heard, didn't you, where Ken found that the whole of the Flaming Cliffs was $12.99. Go faster than this, can't I? Veering off a little bit, I need to go this way. Could be over there. I won't get a view from there. This hill that we can see is here by the looks of it, but it's so far away from there. I have a range of about 7k, as you can see. So I wish, can I draw circles
Flaming
on here?
Cliffs
No.
is $14.99 for me.
Yeah, and he says he's gone back up to 29. That's really interesting. Are you on a VPN, Kev, by any chance? I'm wondering if you're on a VPN with a different country. No, that's a bit odd. Are you going to be on a VPN soon? Oh, that gives me a case in point. The UK, for some of you who may not know, is going to ban social media for all under 16s. Yeah, it's going to be banning social media for under 16s. It's not just going to be banning social media, it's going to be banning everything, games, the lot, anything that you can write messages, communicate with, etc, etc. Streaming, games, everything, unless you give ID, the ID being either driving license, passport, or a government ID. Can you imagine? So we spent years about how to keep safe online and all that nonsense, and I'll tell you what
I've
it is.
finished porn now, so no need for a VPN.
You finished porn. The thing is, you have to give ID as an adult just to go onto a game, a streaming service. Like this streaming that I'm doing, I won't be able to do. Right? Unless I prove I'm an adult. Anybody who wants to watch in the UK has to prove they're an adult and give their ID to some random whoever. This is the theory. And the reason being is because of the effect of social media on children, but they pussyfooting around what the real reason is.
217 said, this country.
Yeah, but I'm going to say something that is going to be harsh, and if this was me just doing a piece to YouTube, I probably wouldn't be able to say it the way I am now. But if I, as a parent, and a few other parents, went down for a picnic on the embankment of a motorway, and we said to our kids, who could be anything from about 9 years old up to 16, here's a ball, go and play on that nice road down there. Now, if my kids went down there and something happened to them, right, would I then go to number 10 with a picture of my kid saying, look at that, I was bereft, I was negligent, I never took due care and attention of my kids and sent them to play football on the motorway. You need to ban the motorways. You need to ban cars. Right? And then you say, well, hang on a minute, that's not what happened, you're right. But if you're going to put a smartphone in a child's hand, have the internet at home, and give them completely unfettered access to the internet without monitoring or managing or taking due care and attention or utilising the tools that all of those devices provide, and something happens to your kids, I'm really sorry, but whose fault is that? Is it the internet? Is it mine? Because I stream. Or is it the parents
UHF
who couldn't be asked?
XD.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And so, instead of dealing with a problem, right, because as our, at the moment, Prime Minister says, Keir Starmer, oh, one child's death is too many. I agree wholeheartedly. But when you start to Google the stats of child-related incidents to do with cars, deaths over the year, and look at the figures, or better still maybe child-related deaths due to alcohol.
Okay, now how about licensing
Right.
parenthood?
Well, right, why would you want to go and ban cars or alcohol, and why aren't you banning cars and alcohol? For the same reasons that you
Some
seem.
people that have kids wouldn't qualify.
Do you see what I mean? So, to be honest, would I give a 10-year-old a smartphone? God, no. Would I also let them have unfettered access? No. Could I claim, well, I didn't know what it was like? Well, I'm still being sort of not holding myself to being responsible because I didn't do the research first. I wouldn't give the babby the keys and say, go and have a drive round in the car. I wouldn't send a kid down through the middle of Soho or Pigalle in Paris and say, here's £5, or the red light district of Amsterdam, say here's £5, go and enjoy yourself, without knowing what they're going into. And yet, it's everybody's fault,
Just said,
except
I would.
those people. You would. And I think it's pathetic. All they need do, right, and it won't be popular, don't get me wrong, you don't give smartphones to kids unless you manage it. And if you can't be asked, you should give a phone with, because what the parents are going, yeah, but we use WhatsApp, right, or such and such communicate, so I know where they are on the way from school. When I was a kid, right, bearing in mind I was an asthmatic and sometimes it wasn't always great, my parents found out who didn't even have a phone at the time when they found out, and that's that. It's tough, isn't it? Right? All you need is a phone that can text and you can call it. And if you want tracking on it, you have tracking on it as well.
Said, at UHF 404, that's called eugenics.
It's absolutely ridiculous, right? So you just ban smartphones for kids, right? And if parents buy the kids a smartphone or give the kid a smartphone, they get £1,000 fine. The next instance, 2,000. Next instance, 5,000. Right? And that's all they've got to do. Or if they're going to have internet in the home,
404 said, no, responsible society.
I know. Or if they're going to have internet at home, right? Am I getting there without realising? And I'm going to. No, I'm all right. If they're going to have internet at home, they need to go on some awareness course so that they have a certificate to allow them to have the internet at home so that they can manage it properly for the kids. The televisions even have it. The smartphones have it. The routers have it. And there's no, oh, I don't understand it. I'm an adult. Well, do you know what I mean? It's like ridiculous. So instead, now every adult, based off these kids, however many there are, right, has to give ID to whatever Tom, Dick or Harry happens to run the game, stream platform or whatever. Bearing in mind, no disrespect, but who runs Discord? I mean, on our Discord, I put a series of pictures of my leg because I did some damage at work once. So I'll put some pictures of what I did and then put a progress thing. And you know, that's password protected now. And I can't even get onto it. Nobody can access it unless they show ID. And Discord had all the IDs and stuff hacked into not so long back. Can you imagine? And some arsehole called our government, arseholes even, have absolutely no idea. It's a knee-jerk reaction to a problem that some parents go blarting outside. Here's a picture of my child and look, they did this because of social media. No, they did it because you can't be asked to look after them properly. And you don't hear anybody saying that because I know it's a little bit harsh, but that's the reality of it. Anyway, please place your comments in chat. Do you know what I mean? It's just absolutely ridiculous. And to be fair, most of the kids all know the way around most stuff anyway.
Strange River Dragon said, we could also do more to make smartphones less mandatory for participating in society.
I don't think that's the issue so much. In my day, it was who's got what trainers. Kids would go in these trainers that were this. It's all status, it's all this. They've got one, I want one. Right? So it's not a case of belonging. If you've got a kid who's never known any better and, you know, there's an age, if they did something now, then it wouldn't take long before younger kids accepted that something was an adult thing and something that wasn't. The same way as we accept, you know, you don't find kids just trying to wander into a bar for a pint, and by kids I mean like 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds. Admittedly, when I was 15, we used to go to the pub from school in the break in our school uniforms, but we took our ties off so you couldn't tell, and we wore blazers. But those times were a bit different, right? Yes, we did get porn at school, right? Not because there were movies, it wasn't allowed in this country.
404 said, "Lo, we used to wander into the strip joint and see how long we could get away with it."
Yeah, exactly. And we used to get all sorts of weird and wonderful magazines that kids had found at the parent. Oh, that was a door slam. Kids had found at the parents, right, at the house, and brought them into school. And that was way before anything harder than a fluffy toy became legal. Because that wasn't till a few years ago, and they accidentally made it legal for hardcore porn in the UK. It's all just bizarre, and no one wants to take ownership of the problem or responsibility. And the only thing I can say, I haven't voted since 1983 in this country, because they're all a shower of shit, right? And the only reason I voted was because my dad, who was a staunch leftist Labour union guy, berated me.
She said the shower curtain section of the Argos catalogue was as good as it got.
Exactly. So,
Warning. Under
oh
attack.
shit, I ain't gonna die.
Under attack. Warning.
Oh.
Under attack. Warning. Under attack.
Okay, we know where that is then. Can you hear that? That's my blades going, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. So I dodged that one so we can see where it is.
Foreigner 217 said, saw that smoke.
Saw it and then tried to remember where my flares were, and fortunately I remembered. And because we're at 90 degrees as well, that helps. So we know where it is, but I don't think this is the way to get to it. So I'm trying to come round to this area, keeping the SAM on my right hand side, 90 degrees, so that it confuses me with the background as well. So hopefully a few flares get rid of it, but you never know. What range we got? Ooh, 4.3k, no wonder. No wonder. So let's have a look from behind these hills and see if we can see anything. But do you get my gist? So, to be honest, at this point in time, because all our politicians are a shower of shits, right, they always have been, they'll say one thing and then when they get in they do another, but that might, fall on its face. You only need one party to turn around and say, no, we're not going to do it, and everyone will vote for them, and nobody will give a shit what the rest of the policies are. I mean, I think you guys have learnt in America, what you say and what you do when you're there are two different things, and we get a lot of that here, but it might encourage me to vote again, and it'll be whoever's not going to proceed with this nonsense. So we'll see. So that beeping was basically my engine being overstressed, my blades being extremely close. 124 radio check. Okay, radio working. Now, where I am at the moment is going to cause me to sort of stick up a little bit like a sore thumb if I'm not careful. Let's sit back here a little bit and see if I can get deflection down so we can see whereabouts everything is. This may be alright. Right, so I need to slow down. You can see which way I'm drifting. Again, I'm going to start pulling the cyclic. I wasn't talking to you, Siri. I mean Alexa. So I'm gently nudging the helicopter in the opposite direction of that line till it gets really low, and then I'm going to hit the auto hover. If I do it when it's around about 2 or 3, you'll see this kicks in and balances really, really easily and quickly. Okay, so it switches on the altitude hold, which this will hold at some point. If it's moving down, it's because my collective is a little bit low. In other words, it's going down more than this can hold it, i.e. more than 10%. So I'm just going to increase my collective a little bit, and you'll see this stop as well in a minute, and then I'm not going to look for anything until this has stopped. The last thing you want is to turn round, not be looking, and then your helicopter's dropped down or drifted off. Now this might give me some cover. So now we're sitting at 0 movement. and 153 meters. Okay, we're looking more or less in the direction that we want to look, and I'm just waiting. In fact, now's a good time to drink my cup of tea, isn't it? Cup of tea number 2. Right. So 153 meters. And now what I'm going to do is release the Schwal. So it's not something that lives under the sea. The Schwal, remember I said we got a camera system there. Look. You can see it in the nose. And that basically, does this not look like some sort of weird shrimp? I think it does. I never noticed it before, but it does. So we're going to activate that, and then we've got a laser sitting by the side of it, so that little bulge on the left hand side is the laser. So what we're going to do is activate the Schwal. As soon as we activate it, we'll see a camera. Our bobinator's gone. Oops. Oops. You went a bit close and had your fingers burnt. Has my stream gone weird, or is it just me? I don't know whether it's because my computer's getting hot. Sorry about the coughing. So, when the... Oh, right, okay. There's a few things that you need to be careful. So here's the camera, and now we can see what the camera... I apologise, this is me getting too hot now. It makes me cough. So, we can move that camera around, look. Okay, I'm going to put this back on. It makes it difficult for me to see the trees, but you'll be able to see the camera, okay? And that's the camera view. At the same time, oh man, I tell you what, coffee makes me hotter, heat makes me cough, it irritates my throat, that makes me cough too, and it's not good, is it? I can move this down, and as I move it down closer, you'll see on the Abras, this screen on the right here, look, a marker of where I'm looking. Can you see that? So I can actually move this around, and it's on a gimbal in that camera system at the front of the M2000, at the front of the helicopter. Now when I move it, there'll be a point where it goes off the hood, and when it goes off the hood we'll get a box, and that box shows me the limits of this indicator. So typically if I'm looking at targets, I'll be looking down here, okay, mostly. So if I'm looking here and I'm looking round following a line of targets, for instance, I've got to be aware of when I've hit my gimbal limits, which is there. So that will flash in my hood, the camera will flash, and it can't go any more than that box. So if I reset that, open it again, what we've got, and this is something you need to be aware of, right? We've got space to our left and right, and we've also got space up and down. Not loads, but we've got plenty. So I'm going to switch on something called auto turn. Auto turn is on the left hand thigh, and we're going to switch that on. And what that means is when I move this camera, every time I move it left and right and stop, the helicopter is going to rotate. Okay? So at all times I can see what's going on at front of me, and the laser which these rockets or missiles on the sides need, which always points forward, is going to be pointing in the general direction of the target. If I'm just using the gimbal, it's good for looking around, but it's not good for shooting things, because the gimbal can be at 35 degrees to the left of the front of the target, and the missile is pointing 35 degrees to the right of that gimbal. So that's not going to be very good. Okay, so I can't use the missiles because it won't let me fire them by default. So what I'm going to do now, right, is, where's the target? It's down here, isn't it? Look. Okay. I'm going to slowly lift my helicopter up. Now, as you saw, this is a pretty damn good hover. You can also make the Apache do this, by the way. Well, do this bit anyway, and move it down. So what I'm going to do now is use the collective brake. If you look, what's going on with my tracking? If we look down there, I think something's getting a bit warm. On the edge, or just underneath here, is a collective brake. It's like a bicycle brake. Look, can you see it moving? It's just a clasp it and it pulls it up, and that allows me to adjust the height by increasing the collective, even though this fourth light came on when I hit the auto hover. So this is altitude hold. So even in altitude hold, I can move this helicopter up. And the only thing I can see here is altitude. So if I slowly start lifting this up, I'm going to start peeping over the hill. Now hopefully the hill's not too high. That means I can't see down low enough. And maybe with a bit of luck, it means I can look down on the target. I suspect this is too high, the hill is too steep the other side. So I might not get the deflection I want. Now as I move up, these missiles on the side, which they're not doing it yet because they're not enabled, right, will start to point down. So let me just stop that from going up at this point. I'm going to select my missiles, which are my which station, outer station, and I'll select those now, and you can see there's a little indicator. There's the outer station, there's the inner station. Outer station's got lights on, therefore they selected. However, at the beginning, if you were here, I said there's a third pylon, and I called it a bastard helicopter, because in the real Shark you only had 2 pylons. So you've got this third pylon that isn't referenced anywhere on there. Right, so now you'll see, as I'm starting to go up, if we have a little look, the missiles are pointing down. So the higher I go, the lower they point, up to a limit. So what I've got to do is try and look down on the target area as best as I can. Now this might not be the best place. This is just the first place. Now if I go up too fast, I'm going to end up sticking my head too far above and finding myself looking down, but they can see me, they'll be waving to me. Now there is no white hot or black hot in this helicopter, and that is one of the things that was supposed to be added to it. I'm looking down this way to see if I can get down to where that little town is, where the missile thing is, and see if it's possible for me to shoot from here without getting shot. I do think I'm a little bit behind a hill that's just a little bit too tall, so I might have to move round to my left, but we'll see. Last thing I don't want, especially as I'm quite close, is for them to be seeing me. I think this is still trees there, isn't it? Look. Yeah. See, I'm moving higher and higher up, but I think this is going to be trees. I might have to go there and try and look down and sneak over a bit, but as I said, we'll try it. If I get shot, I'll get shot. I might have to explain the weapons in a different way. Oh dear, this hold is not being very good today. You can see my graphics card is sitting up at 73 degrees. I know it's not over hot compared to old days, but it's still warm in this room. I used to have a graphics card that run at 99 to 101. Well, I had 3 of them actually. Now the other thing on this, well, that looks like the floor there, look. Yeah, is that we can move, or 2 levels of, I would say zoom, but a wide view and a narrow view. I've got to try and see them before they see me. Shadows. Oh. Hate these shadows of the trees again. Is that something? No. Doesn't look like it, does it? It does look like it, but it isn't something. Oh, maybe I'll put my laser on now. There we go. I've got a range. It says 6.3 kilometers, and my range to target is about 5.5. Am I still going up? No. Oh, I need, look, my head tracking is having major issues. All my keys, one of the 2. Can you see the way it's jerking around a little bit? That really does look like something to me, but it's not. So I'll scoot around this, see what I can see. See the helicopter's turning with me. What's that there? Anything? Nothing? Nope. Oh, it is, isn't it? Look. Can you see? Change that down. Hit the button. Okay. Now, I've got to make these concentric look, otherwise I can't fire. I need a C on there. I'll explain the other bit in a minute when I've hit it. Rifle. Let's follow the missile in. Excellent. Blown the tree up. Okay, I think that might know I'm firing at it now. So when I get a lock, you can see that this jiggles around like crazy, right? And it looks like there is something there. Let's switch my laser off. We can just see over there, but the trees we collide through, unfortunately. Now I might be able to get away with going a little bit higher to avoid that tree there. Let's try. See, there's no C. So make sure this is concentric. Not sure what's going on there. Oh great, have I switched my, I'll switch my laser off yet, so I've got no range find. While we're looking there, yeah, I switched it off, I realised, thank you. We can see that's 12 o'clock, that's closest or minimum, this is maximum. So when we put laser back on and give it a pop, we're within firing range. We've got a C. Let's fire it, rifle. One of the things we can do is move that a little bit. Let's see if we can pop it down. Got some infantry. Not sure what else is there. It's still turning around, look. I don't think it'll go through the tree. So you see I'm having to just gently turn with my feet to make sure that the target there and the pipper for the weapons are concentric. Look, we'll see the C in a second. There it is. Rifle. Try and get rifle. Have I gone too far? Yep. Rifle. Come on. I think that's going back a little bit. Let's just drop it down. I think that's fair enough. There's nothing turning there now, is there? So this is really, really sneaky in terms of... let's switch that laser off. It's really sneaky in terms of helicopters and also very snipery. Now what I'm going to do is go over and let's have a look from the point of view of the enemy. I'll probably get shot while I'm doing this, of course. I want to go down to here and I want to do Control F11. And I want to look up. Oh yeah, that's good. That's that SA2 site. I don't want to get down to their level. Still got something here, look. And I want to look up over the hills. Where am I? Do you see what I mean? Is that me there? Don't think it is, but it might be. Nope, that's a tree. Where the hell am I? Oh, probably dead by the sound of it. Oh no, that was someone else firing. That was Bobinator. So when you get into a position where you're shooting, you don't want to be on top of the hill. Okay? If you're on top of the hill, you're going to be seen from their point of view. If you're back a bit, and I try and explain this, but it doesn't always come out very well. Let's finish my cup of tea first. Sorry, I'm English, you know what it's like. Hot day, cup of tea. Cold day, cup of tea. Only I don't like cold tea, so I have to drink it. I'm not still going up, am I? Excuse me 1 minute. So the best way I can describe it is like in a castle. Has anybody not been to a castle? And if you're from the States, the answer is probably you haven't unless you've been abroad. But castles had very wide windows on the inside. Teabag broke. And very narrow slits on the outside. The best, maybe, if you imagine you've got a bedroom door that is open to a little crack and you're outside the door, you can look around in that bedroom from left to right and see a big area. And that's what I'm doing here. This area allows me to look over and see the stuff that's down here, and it makes it extremely difficult for them to see me. Okay? And it's that sort of bedroom cracking the door that you may have seen in some films once upon a time, where people are looking through the crack. Horror films I'm thinking of, before your minds drift any further. And it allows you to see a lot more. So from my position I can see a lot more, but they haven't got that benefit. So I'm pretty well hidden, but I'm also minimised on some of the things I can actually see. Now while I'm here, I'll see if I can pick a target. I don't know if that's a target, I think it is. Let's try with a laser, shall we? Doesn't look like it. There's more stuff around there. So let's go up just a little bit higher. It won't let me pick targets that are already dead. So I won't get a lock on a target. Something over there, or is that a tree? It's probably a tree, yeah. There may be something over there, but I think that's a shadow. There you go, he's going in with his Mirage. Can't see anything over there. Might be time for me to move. Get a better position. Because I know there's still SAMs there. It's also a lot more SAMs than there used to be.
117 said, he clipped my wing ever so slightly.
Did he? He's still alright though. Yeah, there's nothing there. What I was going to try and show you is how you can set a target. If I can find another target before I move, I can add that target to my Abras. So this seems like a good position at the moment, but I can also get to stuff from the valley on the left, I think, because this is just so well covered. Might be stuff there. Oh dear, yes. Okay. Well, I'm not going to move from here, but what I will show you is, say there's this little trucky thing. Select it, right? It's a trucky thing. My camera, my head tracking's playing a little bit silly buggers. Hit this button here, hit this button there, and now I have that position on my Abras. Okay. Now what that means is, should I put my Abras away, I can literally fly somewhere else and tell my helicopter to automatically turn and point at that target, which is really, really good. And if I got people with me in one of these rifle, if I'd got people with me in one of these, I could send those targets to them. So I could be sitting here sending them targets and they could shoot them, or I could be lasing and they can fire and my laser will pick them up. Is that a tree? All right, what the hell? That might be dead actually. There's a few things there. I can see these trucks. I think they're just trucks, aren't they? Oh, there's a vehicle, look. Just sitting under there. It looks like a truck. This is another tank. Some of these tanks will just, when you're sitting and hovering like this, will just turn around and shoot you. And you see a missile coming all of a sudden, rifle. Follow him. If I'm there quick enough. So that's following the laser down. There you go. Excuse me, I need to cough. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with my head tracking. Keep pressing the button to unkey it and it's not doing anything. I don't know whether we'll hit that through this tree, but we can try. Rifle. It's really sneaky, like. Yeah, we got that. So that little truck there is still on my Abris, so we'll look at that after. Anything else on the road? Okay, so what we'll do now is move and we'll see if we can get that working. So when you want to move, what I'm going to do is go over there and see if I can look up that road a little bit better, probably from over there. We're on auto hover. Okay, the Schwal is put away. Here's the laser. We're just going to switch that back off. If you leave your laser on, you can probably do a whole set of shots, go back, rearm, bring it out, do a whole set of shots, and if you leave it on, it's overheated and then it won't work anymore. So just be aware. So when I press this, switch auto hover off, I also want to get rid of altitude hold. Okay, hold my trimmer. Now I am going to have to drop my height, but I also need to switch this off a bit because it's difficult for me to see these trees here. So I'm going to point my nose down. We're just going to move, and you can see that I'm holding my trimmer because the trimmer diamond is pointing somewhere different to where my heading is. Now I've let go. So it's always lots of trimmer adjustments rather than trimmer and reset, etc. So you just keep changing the trimmer. This is possibly going to put me high, but I'll show you what I'll try and do with that one thing and hope I don't get shot in the meantime. If I do, that's fair enough. Probably talked too much already. Here's the road, so I'm starting to slow down. Again, I'm still holding the trimmer. What I've got to be careful of is whether there's just something on that road there or just shit out of me. So this looks like it might be a bit of a hollow, I'm not sure. Right, so I need to slow down. I'm crossing the road. I can also see lampposts. I think that's the road going through where the bridge is. So let's go and get a hidey place down here. And I don't want to point to anything specific, but I want to show you how this works. Right, checking my speed at the top, look, or velocity. Dropping it down as slow as I can by hand so that it doesn't take long. You can see I'm quite low. And hopefully this kicks in relatively quick. If I overcooked me slowing down, I may have drifted back a little bit far, but we'll see. Yeah, look, see the speed I'm moving? Just take that off a little bit, give it a little bit more trim to the left, put it back on again. Right, okay, that's good enough. It's not moving there, not moving there. So let me show you what I can do with this, right? I'm going to go and select that vehicle that I picked before, and you can see it's flashing. Okay, you can also see excuse me, you can also see I'm not pointing anywhere near it. I'm going to switch on auto turn. I'm also going to switch on my laser, and this time instead of pressing send mem, I'm going to put DL ingress. Watch what happens when I release the cheval or uncage the cheval. Watch the camera and watch the helicopter. So that little truck that I picked from over there, right, is now over here, and this has pointed me straight to it. So if I lift up over these trees really carefully, before I get to that truck I should see targets. I hope. Oh, they've seen me. So if I do end up dead, bearing in mind the little truck I got was down here. Where am I now? Look, I'm right down here. If I do get blown up, that's probably going to be the end because it takes too long to get here. But you get the gist. Now, it's also got a cannon on it, and the cannon on it will fire 4.5 clicks. When I said about this before, you've got a minimum there, sorry. So it won't fire less than that, and it won't fire more. You can actually stretch the missiles out on this, possibly up to 9.5, 10, but you have to switch it into, when my pause button works, into manual mode here. When you're in auto mode, it says a set of parameters. Are we within range of the extent of the missile? Yes, brilliant. Is the laser and the missile pipper, are they concentric, i.e. the circle here for where the laser's pointing and this concentric, are they overlapping? If yes, it allows you to fire. You see a C appear. If you haven't got a C, like this now for instance, can't fire anything. Okay, so in automatic mode it's got to be aligned, you've got to be within range. In manual mode, you know what, it's up to you. You fire if you think you can hit it, and basically if you're pointing in the wrong direction, me as a helicopter doesn't give a shit, you're just wasting missiles. But you can use that to extend the range. If I was up at 18,000 metres, I could make it shoot further, right? But if I'm low down, I can make it shoot a little bit further. So you can utilise manual mode, whereas auto mode is like 98-99% you're going to hit it and blow it up. Manual mode is, it's up to you. If you use it properly, you can do some things to make it work better. Right, oh man, as I said, my head tracking is playing up a little bit. So we know the stuff over there. I've still got 6 missiles left. I've still got guns. I'm going to start to lift my head up over here. But I somehow think I'm going to switch my laser off. I somehow think we are going to be dead soon. Because when we used to do this, we didn't have SA-15s. We had an SA-2. And the mission's been updated. Now I'm going to have to switch this off so that when my camera's looking over these trees, again, I'm not right on top of the trees for the same reason as before, but I'm slowly moving up, but I think I might get shot this time out. So we've got to be careful. I'm slowing it down. Again, got my finger on the trigger. So the bridge is just up there, and there will be something on the bridge. And in theory, I could...
Still SA-15 up. Ask me.
Oh.
I know.
I know, there's an SA-15. That never used to be there. And I know, you know. Here's the road. I think the other target's around the bend. But let's see if we can see them before they see me. Let me stop it there. Make sure we're not moving up anymore. The way that I stop it is I let go of I pull back on the stick a little bit, just where I want to stop. And I just pull the little lever on the collective brake. Still haven't worked out why my head tracking's having a bit of a mare. So it looks like we're far enough away. Everything's up the road and around the corner by the looks of it. And it's possibly all the way over those trees. But you can see where that truck was. So let's go up a bit more. If we can get rid of the main stuff that's shooty, then you can see how the guns work, and the guns will take armour out as well. The high explosive and armour piercing. What's that there? Is that a chimney, or is that someone trying to fire missiles? Because I don't think the tops of the trees would help. It's quite hard to tell, isn't it? And this is the problem with this screen, you know. It really would have been excellent had we have had infra.
Probably easier for you to take out the tool, but I'll get it down program just in case.
Don't worry. It's not going to be too long because I am getting somewhat hot at the moment, but you carry on. Just do what you want. I think there's a target. Oh no, it's a tree. What I've got to watch is this land over there on the side. Suddenly something will appear there. And you know what? I'm beginning to think I'm pointing at a house with a chimney. What do you reckon? Chimney smoke? What we've got over? I want to keep going up. That's the road, isn't it? There's nothing across that side. Oh, there is. When it does go bang, or I go bang, it's going to be very much... I'm going to be jumping. I don't know about you lot. Does it sound like I'm pushed inside your head a little bit more now, by the way? As I lean into the mics, and we find out whether this is a house, a smoking vehicle, or a or what? Leaves. Look at the map. Road bends in, goes right to the right. Something started tracking me from over there, unless...
You are sounding like the reasonable voice in my head. The other one would be suggesting sending a Vic to the living room of that house.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just push my head forward, smooth as a mic out, just a smidge. Here we go. Or I could talk into your right ear and just make you feel just that little bit uneasy as soon as something's about to go bang. May have to move around a little bit just to get a better view. I think, what's that there? That's nothing, is it? Nope. I think it's further around the corner, to be honest. So I may have to move around to the left a little bit and have a look from there. I can probably get a position over there, but I can't fly over at this height. Let's take that off. Let's take that off. Take that thing off. You gotta remember to take these things off before you move. Is that all the way? And then let's get over there and see if we can get over there. Camera's back too much at the moment. As I get over there, you'll find that I'll find out the hard way. So I want to get into that gap before they see me. Yeah, it is the smoke of a house, by the way. See why I haven't got the sun visor on, because that would just obscure the view. So I'm just going to slow down. I'm doing 200, just dropping from there. See some black smoke. Don't want to drop on these trees. Do a little circle to try and cut down on some of the forward movement. Come on. Oh, starting to jitter. Could have been getting into a VRS there. So we're on a slope. I want to point more around that way so it'll make, shut your hole, make more sense to go over this way a little bit. I know it's a little bit higher, but oh no, well, yeah, we'll do that. Again, holding the trimmer in, making fine adjustments to get to where we want. Try not to give our position away to everything that's just over there. Be better with another layer of trees in potentially. As long as we've got enough room to suddenly drop and move into. Right, I think this will probably do. So again, slow it down, hit the button. That brings on the altitude hold down there.
Gilgit 85 said, K-mate.
Hey, hello Kilgore, how are you? How's it going? Right, so what I'm going to do now, same as before. Right, let's select that target. If there were multiple targets, I'd select that time and time again. You can see where the target is. Switch on the auto turn. I'm going to put the laser back on for now. I'm going to hit DL ingress. I'm going to hit this so you can see better. And now I'm going to release the Schwal, and the helicopter should just spin round to where it is. And that'll get me pointing in the right direction to start. One thing you've got to be careful of with the auto turn.
Where are we going? What are we doing?
Oh, so basically,
Splendidly, you're flying one of them can be black sharks.
yeah, I'm in the Black Shark 3. So I went through the whole of the startup, the alignment, how the trimming system works, and then been going through some of the weapons system before I finished, basically. I started off with Huey last week doing some actual training, and I thought because the sale's on at the moment, let's jump in and do some streaming. I wasn't on it, that was no plan.
Thank you for the follow, lost_peso.
Oh, thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow, lost_peso.
Well, I heard the dingle, but something didn't happen. I'm not sure why. It should have done, but we'll see.
85 said, gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you for that follow. Have you got a thank you follow multiple times? Let's have a look. Oh, there it is. A bit slow. I wondered where that was. It's too hot. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do is lift up again. I'm going to select the weapon. I'm going to put the lasers on, isn't it? Look.
I used to do a lot of DCS, mostly SU-25 Frogfoot.
Ah, right, yeah. Well, there's a sale on at the moment. So if you want anything, all the actual Eagle Dynamics modules are half price. So I'm not sure how much an A10C is, which is probably about your best simulation of a SU-25. But it'll be half price. Right, let's have a little look. Oh, come on. I tell you what, I don't know whether it's just the heat, everything's overheating a bit. But stuff isn't doing responses like it should. Right, I'm going to slow down. We are pretty close according to this. Oh no, 7.1 over there, that's fine. Let's try and get our bearings again. What we got down there? Shadow. We know we've got a little town. And there's a road somewhere that is open field. I'm just waiting for the big bang, and you know it's coming. Okay. Ah. Is that part of the bridge? Is that even the bridge? Oh no, it's the road. Blimey. It's a bit white. So the road goes round there, goes round there. Hope it's the right road. So let's look at my map. It looks like it. And the bridge will be right in the middle of those trees, or just over there, no doubt. I don't think it's this side, because That's 3.6 clicks away, and the actual place is 7. So it's going to be that way and past. There's 6. So that's 8. That's a little bit too far. Okay. So the bridge, I think it's a little bit further on, but there's still something guarding the bridge if I remember from the other viewpoint. Yep, there we go. I think, unless this is just the base of trees.
Bovinita 217 said, Eagle times 2 SA15.
Excellent. Is that something hiding there? Looks like it, doesn't it? Nope. Is that the actual bridge there? If it is, I'm going to be in trouble. Just increasing my height still. You ever feel like you... Excellent. I was just going to say, you ever feel like a pickle might be landing on your head soon? Let's have a look at my thingamajig. Where's that smoke? Oh, come on. There it is. What's that there? Look. Yeah. So it's just a little bit round that bend. .4. I'm going to get too high soon and just get shot out.
Minimum fuel.
Right, now we can just about match those there. Have we got a lock? I don't think we got a lock. They might already be dead. And I've run out of fuel, by the way. And I'm still going up, but I think that doesn't look dead to me. Some of these obviously look dead. There we go, 6.8. Oops, I am way high now, look. Rifle. I don't want to be this high. So I'm getting warnings about my fuel. I haven't got anywhere to go, to be honest, so we'll just keep going round. That looks alive to me, but I'm guessing it isn't. That's a truck, not going to shoot it.
Under attack.
Oh, who's attacking me?
Under attack.
That'll be a tank or something over there. Some tank will just literally, I tell you. Some tank has got a gun on the back there. Rifle. once we got rid of the sands, but these tanks are quite bad if I sit still too long. That went over there, didn't it? Rifle. Try to keep my helicopter pointing down at it. So if you have a look, Bobby Nater. Oh, we got something there. I'm dead. Come on. Off we go.
Under attack. Warning. Under attack. Warning. Under attack.
Could be.
The RDM with a Striller launcher. Sparrow 98 said, "Hi, server or SS?"
This is server, but the trouble is, it's running on my machine and I'm not going to be on here much longer. I was literally going through the Shark, demonstrating it and going through some of the weapon systems. I've nearly run out of fuel and I'm also getting really hot in the UK. It's not even the hottest days yet, but so unfortunately it won't be on long. On Saturday we are looking for people if you want to come and join us. We're doing foothold on Persian Gulf. If anybody wants to come and join, that's helicopters, planes, whatever. We could do with some cap, we could do with some defence. But if anyone wants to join in, you are welcome.
217 said, "This Saturday coming up?"
Yeah, every Saturday. Every Saturday from about 8 o'clock BST till around about 2 o'clock BST.
UHF 404 said, "I can patrol, but I'd without support."
What's support is just logistics, troop pickup, moving armour around and resupplying thingamajigs. It depends what you're in. So there's C-130s, Mi-8s, helicopters, obviously all the planes, Apaches. It's a really good mission.
Said, "It's C-130 time."
Not sure what's going on. Things are really starting to slow down.
404 said, "Lol, I mean I can fly around blind. How much use I would be, lol."
No, that's fine. The thing is, you would be amazed. Oh, thank you for the follow there. We'll get a message soon. Oh, Dingo Tactical. Hello. I won't be on long now. How are you, Dingo? So I'm sort of just winding up what I've been doing.
Under attack. Warning. Under attack.
Let's see if we can get down. If I die, I'll be finishing shortly.
Dingo_Tactical said, "Doing well, thanks, mate."
You're all good. So I've been going through the Shark.
Warning.
Yes, I know.
Under attack.
Oh, there's something over there as well. So basically what I've been doing today.
Time where everyone raves and runs long.
Right, yeah, don't worry. I've been going through this, going through some of the weapons system and going through startup and that because there's a sale on, so it seemed like a good idea at the moment. I wasn't intending to stream today. My helicopter shot a bit, but hey ho. I've virtually got no fuel. My head tracking's playing up a little bit today.
Warning.
Yeah, I think Okay, I think this is done. The other thing this has got that most helicopters don't have, come on, is an ejection seat. As a mission, I mean, there was just me and Bobby Nater in. This is one of the missions, or little missions off this, which is great for training, to be honest.
Off with his head.
Fortunately, it does blow the blades and then pop everybody up. And now it's going to be time for me to raid and run. Hopefully, if anybody was here from the beginning, if you're not familiar about the Shark, it's a really good piece of kit. The Apache is excellent. The difference with the Apache is it's much better with two. It really is, because the AI is still a bit of a hit and miss. It's like yesterday when we were playing. It was, go on then, George says, get me closer. Okay, you're closer. Go on then, fire. I'm not ready yet. Well, why aren't you ready? And then fire, and he goes, no, I don't want to.
I enjoy the KA50 so much. Only wish it had some night capability.
This is the problem, and it was supposed to have, but unfortunately things changed. Right, let me have a look, see who's streaming, and I'll pass everybody on. Thank you so much for the raids there, by the way, today. That was from Dingo Tactical and Dampy. So let me have a little look and see what I can find. So I'll pass you over.
17 said, time to do some Cold War missions. Need to take the Mirage F1 out for a bit.
Right, let's have a little look. Apache practice Iowa guys on. Let's have a look. Okay, I'll pass you over to Iowa guy again. Pass some viewers over, brighten up his day. If you don't know Iowa guy, he's relatively new, I believe. And so, as always, try and give people support in DCS. There's a few streamers. Everybody starts somewhere. So, just give him some support. I think, am I following already? Yeah, thought so. All right, so thank you very much for that. Thanks, Kev. I'll have a look at your link. Those people on YouTube, thank you very much for watching today. I'm about to stop the channels. I'll be streaming on Wednesday morning, by the way, and it'll be 8:10C.